Hello students, good day to you all and welcome back to the Financial Academy. Today we've got several tips for the potential that we expect to see on the charts. We will start with the crypto market and after that we will talk about the forex market as well. So without further ado, let's move forward to our chart station. As I said, the first thing that we will cover will be the crypto market. So just zooming out just a bit. And again, we can see the same structure of 5 waves that we've described for the past several days. I told you that I'm expecting the market to drop down. I gave this potential as seeing the chart with a downtrend potential. I assumed that it was over here, approximately over here. I told you that I'm expecting it to drop down till this territory. Let's give the additional structure. So you can see very nicely how we've reached the 100%, the 100% equivalent structure of a downtrend movement equivalent to the A wave. Let's just mark the A, B, C structure. Now we've got the A, the B, and the C dropping down, completing an entire structure of a corrective pattern. Right now, we've got a very nice 5 waves of an uptrend movement. There's the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. So, we can say that our expectation is to receive another pullback toward the 10,400 or 10,200 territory. And from that position, we're expecting the market to continue its uptrend movement. In some cases, the Bitcoin is very easy to analyze as we've got a very clean market. We do have a lot of manipulations in the price, but generally we're talking about a lower market in terms of manipulations when it comes down to how many people are trying to interfere the price. Not like the dollar, not like stocks. The Bitcoin is a very clean structure, and I told you in the past that the Bitcoin has a bit of a different structure because it has a quicker response than a regular market. And what do I mean by that? Let's look at this structure, for example. So we've got 5 waves of an uptrend movement. We can see how traders are joining the market with a lot of strength. Look at this time frame. Look at how much time it took for the market to drop down, and on the contrary, how quickly it's climbing up. We can see the same structure over here. Now that is generally the definition of an uptrend or a downtrend, when we can see that the uptrend movement is quicker than the downtrend. But in this case, what we're analyzing is the time that it takes traders to join the market. The speed that this movement occurred is showing me that a lot of traders were waiting outside the market, trying to understand when they can join. And indeed, we can see that they did that with a lot of strength. In matters of several hours, we've climbed up approximately 15%. 15% of an uptrend movement in terms of several hours. That's amazing. Now again, in terms of a healthy structure, we should see the market dropping down toward these territories that I've mentioned, the 10,400 till 10,200. And from this position, our expectation is to see a continuance of an uptrend. But you have to understand that a healthy structure, it what allows the market to continue its movement. Think about traders out there. Think about traders that I don't know, got into the market in this specific potential, and right now they moved outside of the market. So they wait until the market will form the corrective pattern so that they'll be able to rejoin the market. Okay? I'm not talking about long-term investors. I'm talking about short-term, quick traders. So in this case, we understand that only by receiving the corrective pattern, they will allow themselves to rejoin the market with their financial ability. So a corrective pattern is a healthy process. It's not a bad process. And we should wish for a logical corrective pattern that will show other traders that they can join the market with no fear. So in this case, the downtrend potential will only add to the strength of this currency in terms of technical analysis and in terms of trading potential. So right now, that is our assessment. I told you that we were expecting the market to drop down. I told you that usually we'll drop down between the 50 and the 61.8, but because of the strength of the movement that we saw earlier, our expectation is to see even an earlier pullback, a smaller pullback, that will deliver the continuance of a downtrend in a quicker formation. So right now we've got a potential to see the market continuing its uptrend movement with a very nice structure. The Ethereum has a bit of a different structure. It's a bit of a warning sign. And what do I mean by that? We can see that the Ethereum has been forming small deviations from what we can see on the Bitcoin price. If you'll show me this specific chart at any given day, I'll say that the Ethereum is stuck deep in a long-term corrective pattern, not like the Bitcoin. And why do I say that? Because if we'll divide the structures, we can see that we've got a lot of ABC structure inside this corrective pattern. We got the ABC over here. We've got another ABC climbing up. That's 3 waves, 3 waves, and 5 waves climbing up. And the assessment, because of this structure, is to see the Ethereum dropping down, not climbing up with the Bitcoin. Okay? In terms of structure, plain simple structure, if I haven't had the correlation between the Ethereum and the Bitcoin price. So right now, it's a bit of a warning sign, not only regarding the Ethereum, but also regarding the Bitcoin. But I'm still staying with our assessment that the Bitcoin is going to continue its uptrend movement with a lot of liquidity. We saw the structure over there. And in terms of the Ethereum, I still think that there's a bit of a warning sign regarding this specific asset. I don't know what's going on in terms of the fundamental potential. We know that tomorrow we've got a fork coming up. Regarding other currencies, we will have to see what will be the effect. Maybe it will add to the strength of the Bitcoin, and when maybe we will see some funds moving from the Ethereum toward the new fork. So in this case, we might see the Ethereum losing strength for the next several days, while the Bitcoin will gain strength as we were expecting. But this is a very, very alerting deviation when it comes down to the correlation between the two assets. So for our traders, I do think that you need to be more careful with the Ethereum price. The Bitcoin looks very promising, but the Ethereum looks very, very alerting. And I do advise that you'll reconsider if you've already traded or if you'd like to enter this specific asset. So let's move forward to the dollar index. Okay, so since our analysis on the dollar index, you can see that it's still fluctuating around the same territories, not really moving somewhere. We've talked about this downtrend potential and the uptrend potential, and we indeed saw that this structure revealed the additional potential, but nothing changed over here regarding the dollar index. I'm still expecting it to climb up toward the 95 territory, and we can see that in terms of the forex market, we haven't received a lot of change when it comes down to the dollar price. For example, let's look at the dollar versus the Japanese yen. So over here, we can indeed see the potential of the dollar to gain strength. You can see that we've received a large uptrend movement in 5 waves, and we've got an A, B, and C structure dropping down. Yes, our assessment is to see a continuance of an uptrend movement. Again, we might see a bit more fluctuation level, and the only way for us to assess that we're moving forward and climbing up will be crossing this entire corrective pattern structure trend line. Moving beyond that will signal other traders that indeed the market is ready for a continuance of an uptrend, and therefore we will see more liquidity once we will cross this trend line. We can say that in terms of the interior structure, just analyzing the potential on the dollar versus the Japanese yen, we've got an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. We've got a still additional potential of dropping down toward the 104 level. We can even measure the entire structure and receive another confirmation for this downtrend potential. And you can see that indeed the 100 level is located around the 72 level, which is a very logical pullback once we're talking about this specific potential. And again, when I've talked about time frames, I'm analyzing the Bitcoin, I said look at the time that it takes for an uptrend in equivalent to the downtrend potential. That's what I said regarding the Bitcoin. In here you can see a cleaner difference between the strong liquid uptrend and the pullback, the long frustrating pullback of this specific structure. Now that is a daily chart. I'm talking about years over here. Okay, talking about the beginning of 2017 and even earlier than that, when we're analyzing this uptrend and pullback structure. So we're talking about long-term analysis. In terms of an short-term, in a day, weekly trade potential, I would definitely say that we've got more potential of seeing a continuance of a downtrend over here. But for the long term, if you'd like to really wait a lot of time, you can definitely make an 18% of an uptrend movement over here for this uptrend potential. But look at the difference between the markets. I mean, the Bitcoin made 15% for the past, I don't know, 6-7 hours. Over here we can see that it'll take several months to see this kind of a potential. No question about that. The Bitcoin has more activity, the Bitcoin has more profit potential, and again, losing potential as well. We saw the Bitcoin dropping down from 20k toward the $6,000. I remind you that we were assessing that that will be the territory of the pullback toward the $8,000, $7,000. So you can see that we've got a very, very high potential of making very quick profits on the Bitcoin price, and in equivalent to the Forex market, no question about that, the Bitcoin, it's becoming a larger and a larger and a larger market. And as I told you, tomorrow we've got a fork, meaning that we've got a split between specific currencies. If you'd like to read more about that, you're more than welcome to join our sessions or go online and just search for additional information regarding the fork process on the crypto market. And that will be all for today. I'd like to wish you all the best for this week. We will try to give you another update during the end of the week so that you'll be able to stay up to date with the current market status. I'd like to wish you all the best with your trades. Have a pleasant week, and bye bye.